And hello, everybody. It is I, the Rogue Idealist, going live, doing some painting today. Late at night, some late night painting, but it's Saturday, so no one else minds. Welcome, Mr. Dank and Joe Crazy. It's a pleasure having you here today. I'm going to be painting some green skills today, some little lizard boys. I 3D printed these, and I'm going to be using speed paints today. So if you've been kind of on the fence on, if you about speed paints and kind of how to use them and the how the control and viscosity works. Today's a good one to watch. I have I'm behind on some commission work, so I figured I'd combine all my passions into to one thing. Here, that's the only way I get by is combining all my things into one big blob. Made some changes from last stream. That was kind of the practice stream. Oh, that's great. Yeah, they're fun. I like I like the original green scales. I actually don't own those. Are one of the few ones I don't own in the Heroescape game, but I have 3D prints or other Blizzard folk models I just use. The 3D scans are not as detailed as I would like, so these ones have I'll show you have a whole lot more detail, which are more fun for me to paint the more detail they have. Of course, out of focus just because I'm too close. But yeah, they got little scale, texture, and ridges, and great models for some speed paint today. You may have noticed I use a wet palette. I don't recommend using speed paints with a wet palette, as they can bleed behind and bleed into your other paints. It's kind of a mess. Although I do get lazy and just put them on there sometime. It's a balance of I'm just kind of a disorganized painter. Some people are is that one from One Page Rules? It might be. I honestly don't remember where I found these ones. I do know I purchased them. I was actually spent a little bit of time trying to find the link to reference the artist, but I could not find it. I'll probably find it after the stream. I'm gonna upload it to YouTube. But yeah, primarily when you're using speed paints, you just want to put it on. You don't want to water them down. You usually want to use a thinner brush as to not prevent overflowing. And how long am I streaming tonight? I'm hoping for a longer stream tonight. I've been wanting to stream all week, but I have the Kansas does parkour with weather. Like literally, it was 78 degrees yesterday, and today was 40. My body could not, my body could not keep up. I have been having some bad allergies and just feeling a little under the weather, so I'm a little bit behind on things I wanted to do. Yeah, I'm gonna stream more than an hour tonight is the plan. Mainly just because I have a lot of stuff to do. So I got a lot of paints and I haven't been able to do it for a while. So these are pretty with my new 3D printer I just got working. I was using kind of like a Chinese knockoff before that my friend sold me for 30 bucks, which was good starting off, but boy was it frustrating. As like I literally had to download the drivers in Chinese and Google translate them how to install them, and that was a nightmare in of itself. This I just pushed a button and all the settings got automatically linked in. I'm using the Anycubic Mono 4K, I believe. You can buy it for like 169, which is kind of crazy. I remember when 3D printers just came out that they were a couple like $1,500, like the very first ones. You buy it like Staples. Now for less than 200 bucks, you can get one that prints really detailed models. I've been printing a gigantic dragon pieces the last couple days. So when I assemble that, maybe I'll break out the airbrush I just got as well. tax returns were nice this year, so I was able to splurge on some things that I've been wanting to try out for a while. Um, but I hope everyone watching is doing good tonight on this Saturday evening. Spring weather's treating you well. So when you use speed paints, you really want a white. They pretty much show the white color through. So it's definitely cheating, but I mean if you do it right, you can really get a strong, consistent color. You know, you don't have to do layering and building up and all that kind of stuff. Just because it kind of automatically does it for you because it's like a very thin ink. You just primarily is you just got to be careful that you don't bleed it into other parts that you want to paint because this paint stays active for a very long time. Even if you put a little bit of water on it, it'll reactivate and start running, and then it's kind of a pain because you have to. I think I'm out of the frame. Maybe scoot in. You have to repaint it white and then relayer it. It's a little bit less forgiving in terms of running off the lines, but this is literally is just painting in the lines at this point. It's just coloring book, which is nice. Maybe I'll do one because I put in a couple extras just to mess around with. Maybe I'll do one that's an actual just build up layers and stuff like that, which is fun. It's just that's the great thing about HeroScape figures or HeroScape quality figures is that you don't need perfection because the figures themselves are not perfect. It's better to have a badly painted figure compared to an unpainted figure. That's what I'm always saying. I'm scripting out a much more in-depth starting video for those who want to just jump into this painting thing. I'm my own worst enemy, so I've written like four drafts of it at this point, and I just need to commit to it and film it. I get really I get really nervous when I'm doing like this kind of more high value stuff, that's more intensive. Um, I'm still getting comfortable with hello, is that Silicon palette? Oh, this palette? I stole it from my kids' dot paints. And welcome to the painting stream as well, Prime Painter. This right here is just a little plastic palette right here. I'm using speed paints to paint. Yeah, yeah. No, I saw my kids got some dot paints, and I stole their little things. I didn't have one on hand. I use right here. I use my Exemplar wet palette for when I'm actually painting, not speed paints, which I recommend. I hope you're doing well today, by the way. I need to just get a bit more range on that. There we go. Do you think you have it all in line, and then you... Eventually, I would like to upgrade this desk because it's a little bit too narrow for what I like to do. Just make sure you check underneath. Get those tricky little areas. Thank you, Joe. Yeah, I've been I've been building. I have a mini studio in my garage at this point. Um, it's it's been a work in progress building this. I just turn it on now. It's a lot easier to get into filming. I have actually like a mic clamped to my desk, a mic stand clamped to my desk that's able to hold my GH5. And then I have a G7 doing the main camera. That looks a lot better in person, but I didn't spring for the Atem Mini Pro. I just have the Atem Mini, so it's not able to output full 4K, but it's good enough. I don't think anyone cares. No one really, no one really needs to see my face in HD. I think that's better for everyone. Finally got a haircut. That was one of the main things I've been holding back too. Is just my hair was getting a little ridiculous on. Yo, Megasonic, welcome to the stream. No problem. I'm gonna be doing this for a while tonight, so thanks for stopping by. I haven't had a chance to catch your latest Elden Ring run throughs. What's your death count at? All right, let's let this guy cook for a bit. It's tomorrow and it's 40. You're getting there. We'll soon see we'll see the cat pretty soon, which is great. Are you showing Romeo or the I forget the other one's name. Oh, well then maybe we won't see anything. The mysteries will still remain. You really want to just spread it out, have especially the green. The most of the paints are come on pretty thin, but this what's the paint I'm using? This is Orc Skin Speed Paint right here. Is kind of a thicker one, so you really want to make sure it's spread out. Not too thin, but just enough so you get some white showing through. Because I find this color in particular kind of tends to puddle and pool a bit if you don't, just because it's a really thick green. It's baby, that's it. Baby, baby. I'm always fascinated by the names people give their cats because they always there's always either a story behind it or no story at all. It's just like, yeah, I just started calling him baby, or yes, it was found in a Chinese restaurant, so I named it chow mein or something. You know, there's either a lot of lore or no lore at all. I moved to Kansas from California. Speaking of chow mein, just thinking about that now, is the hardest part about living here. I like this place for the most part. Except I can't find any good Asian food. I used to live in a Vietnamese town, so I had some good food out there. But now it's just it just tastes off to me. Well, you got to get to Twitch affiliate. I'm hoping that happens soon. I don't know what I would do with that. Like, I'm that's not even on my goal radar. I'm just here having fun. I think I support snuck on there. There we go. It's tough. Everyone that's hopping on Twitch now is after the pandemic. You know, everyone was watching things back then, but as long as you're having fun, right? That's the main thing. I'm using the Army Painter War gamer character brush, which is what I would recommend whenever you paint any HeroScape figures or any medium-sized 3D prints. It's a solid brush for just it's good at base coating. It can do edge highlighting. It's not too big, so you kind of bleed over, and it's not too small where it takes forever to apply a base coat. It's just a good size. I mean, if you even do well, you can even base coat it, and I mean, do eyes if you're really tenacious. I have naturally shaky hands. Like that's what I'm always telling people. Like if I can paint, anyone can paint. Like it's like painting figures is so much easier than painting like portraits or anything like that. Like I'm impressed by anyone that can do that kind of stuff because this is a coloring book is what I'm doing right now. Like it takes practice to hone it in, but I'm just filling in the lines, especially with speed paint, contrast paint. If you want one, Megasonic, let me know. I can help you out. I got a good printer and loads of free time. No, actually the hardest part about 3D printing is just slicing the file. I hate doing that. So I have to put my USB drive in and then put it back into the machine and slice it. And if it doesn't have supports, then I have to add supports. It's just tedious. I mean, maybe if that's your thing. I'm not necessarily a fan of painting loot things, but if you ever use Hero Forge, though, you could make something there. I could print that for you. This guy turned out a lot better than the first one. It's that balance between learning how to talk and paint at the same time that I'm still figuring out. Alright, I might be able to hook you up, Megasonic. Alright. Good thing you just want to do them one at a time, just kind of knock them out. It helps if you do all the same color all at once, just on all your guys, especially when doing squads or armies. It saves you time and saves you paint, honestly, because it doesn't dry out. Repeat what? I'm sorry. My voice is cutting out. I work in a I work in call center, so I talk 8 hours a day. So my voice is nigh but here. Yeah, I'm glad I'm doing speed paint on these. They actually look pretty good. Coming together. They'll really start popping out once I add the reds and the yellows. These guys are fun units to play. In the game of HeroScape, they are they make the dragons viable. I don't remember Megasonic. Doodly doodly do. I think that's what I said. Something like that. It wasn't important. It was just me rambling. I've been prone to ramble. Yeah, this stream definitely has a lot less technical issues. When am I going to stream some Star Wars? I have some Star Wars Legion minis primed and ready. I just haven't. I've realized it's really hard for me to play video games and stream, but I have the setup all going now. I'll probably be playing some more Knights of the Old Republic. Maybe tomorrow, depending on how I'm feeling. I kind of have a big day tomorrow, but I have been wanting to jump into the back end of that game. I played a little bit off stream on my on my anniversary trip. That's how you know you're in a good healthy relationship. Me and my wife both brought our Switches and we just laid on the bed and played Switch for hours without interruption. It was great. I finally got off Terrace on Knights of the Old Republic, which is great because it's kind of tough. It's like it's like the first level of Pokemon where it's just like you know what you're doing, but it's very slow and tutorial-esque. My current mission is finding an NPC's droid that's her companion. The she's just like, yeah, I love him. My husband reminds me of my husband, and everyone just gives the person kind of an awkward glance, like, okay, I guess we'll find your droid friend, quotation marks. If you get me started on Star Wars, I will start talking about that all night. I do have to go over all the trailers that dropped too, because we got some good ones. That Ahsoka trailer especially is choice. All right. Pretty good. Where's my little paint stick at? Is what I need. Do it. It's obligatory. Fine, Megasonic. I'll do it just because I know you'll harass me if I don't. Alright. Just paint these little lizard boys. I do get bored doing squads. Actually, it's really helpful to just be talking out loud when I'm doing this because it is. I think I get a little bored when I just have to do the same color over and over again. That's my biggest flaw as a painter is I'm really impatient. I don't want the paint to dry in. I just want to do it now, Daddy. Kind of mentality. I know it is cool. It's nice to have people hop in. It really means a lot to me. It's yeah, I've been doing a lot of work to get this a lot easier to do. Jake did show up at the beginning, so he stopped by and said hi. He might still be just hanging out in the background. I haven't checked. That's the plan, right? To do this full time. That'd be great. That's the dream job right there. I'll say up front though, I'm not the best painter. Like there are people out there who are crazy, but I enjoy it. But I like going to the game store and seeing all the GW models people paint with that. They're really, really good with the blending and the highlights and I have not started yet. This is like the first time I've had a chance to do anything last couple days. But it's on my list, to-do list. Only found two. I'm sure we have more than that. Do need to find that string, that first spring clip though, where you kill me off stage and smash with the spring from Sonic the Hedgehog, where it all started. Yeah, I don't know either. We'll have to ask him. Good friend of mine streams Xenoblade and Smash Bros. Every Monday, and we have over a year's worth of humiliation clips so that we're all the mods on this channel are sifting through. Oh, this one's to be tricky. This little crevasse. This unit right here is my least favorite because it's got this big old club blocking all the details. I have to work around that. Actually, I have to be careful when I do that. Alright. Walk to it then. You know what? Maybe I'll paint one of these guys differently, just to mix it up a bit. Any suggestions for a lizard folk color out there? Blue? Alright, I'll make a blue one next. Just so I don't get bored of green. As interesting as it is to watch me paint green 12 times. Here's one I painted. I still got some detail work to do on it, but I painted just in between breaks today. Come out pretty good. Gotta paint the bones, but I don't use the speed paint on the bones just because it was bleeding too much. But let's see here. Let's find my blue. I have to pop my back in the process. I tell you, I'm too old for this. Let's see. Do I want? Where's my magic blue at? Maybe it's over here. Thank you, thank you. I mean, this is what I went to college for. I hope it would look nice. I guess I'll use that blue. I don't know where my magic blue's at, but see here, I could swear. I don't know. So you do want to shake your speed paints vigorously because, well, it's army painter. You have to extra shake everything. All right, let's get a blue guy going. I really wish I had my other color though, but I don't want to get up and find it. All right. The blue comes on pretty thick as well. I'm using Hylor blue because I couldn't find my magic blue. I think it's over there on my desk. They're making a Army paint, Speed Paints 2.0. It hasn't released yet, but they said they're going to add metallics to it. I haven't had a chance to look into the how good the metallics will work, but I always just paint the metallics just out of the bottle with metal. The people that have time to do the no metallic metal, just they have my all. There's so much layering and glazing. I have a whole box of things I got to get through. I don't got time for that. Yeah, you want this nice and just pull in all the recesses. I actually do like this blue a lot more than the green. But it's not bad for one coat to kind of get shading and a little bit of highlights and base coat all in. I do like it. We'll talk about it. I can just we'll message about it, but if you pay for shipping, I'll just print it out for you. I need some gloves. No, I like you got to paint it on the skin. That's how you test the paint color. Gloves. I lose all my control, but well, if it's like a small thing, if it's like this size, I'll ship it out to you for free. But if it's bigger, then we'll have to talk about it. What color do you want the belly to be on this guy? Yellow. Yellow on the belly. All right. I'll keep the red still red then. The furriest thing possible. Yeah, this blue really changes the dynamic of this character, though, for sure. You're not winning any contest with this stuff, but it gets it on the table. Yeah, I think it looked pretty good. I've fully committed to this tabletop thing. Once you get the 3D printer, you know you're in too deep. I'm doing a one shot soon for my brother-in-law's birthday, where I am I'm a lock at the fish person who thankfully the DM I'm a it's level 15, so I am a 10 bard, 3 paladin, 2 rogue, so I'm there for shenanigans. But I just printed up myself a fish person and a narwhal as my noble steed instead of a instead of a rhinoceros, and speed paint these up real fast. I'm just being sloppy with this one. I'm just getting on the scales and that. I could tell I was it's more of a refresher. I usually have a box of just like misprints or units I don't really care about to start off with, as I just kind of gets me warmed up. Because I've been spending so much time prepping to paint, I actually haven't had time to paint. So, but all mistakes are fixable if you do a thin enough layer, which is always nice. You slap it on thick, it does not fix very well. But keep your paints thin. It's pretty much the most important thing I can tell any new person is just thin your paints. And you'll be good to go. You can fix all your sins. Alright, we'll let that dry. Alright, let's get some color on these guys. I know it's probably better to get them all painted green, but I want to see some progress here. I have a pair of my world famous paint pants on right now. Most people use a towel or a paper towel or some kind of napkin. I just use my pants just because that's how I roll. My wife gets bugged when I wear my paint pants to Target in public. Where is my red? Aha. Shake it up. My paint shakes bring all the boys to the yard. Alright. Look at that red. The red is probably my favorite color to speed paint. It just the shading and the all that stuff looks so good. There we go. Look at that. Nice pop of color on these green guys. A little bit too much on the brush. I want to get another camera to show kind of the front angle of the painting and kind of a more of a close-up, but that will have to wait. Look at that. That's how we do it here. It is bleeding a little bit to the green. Oh well. We're good. We'll fix it. I switched lenses up from last time. I realized last time I was using my very my very small aperture lens. So it looked nice, but it kept on going out of focus. And I also got this paint mat because I didn't like my my background. I'm getting a sticker to put right here with my logo on it. I'm always I'm always improving on things. I'm never just satisfied. There we go. These are coming together. The red is my favorite part to add. It just really pops out, really makes them kind of stand out in the battlefield. Lizard folks are fun to play in D&D. Before they kind of offered the revisions to them, I just like the idea of a motionless race that just likes to eat people once they die. That's pretty. It's pretty one note, but it's pretty fun to role play. I've been wanting to do a just a lizard folk death cleric for a while. Pretty cliche, but just so fun to play. See, one thing I found with speed paints is you just kind of got to watch out this pulling. Sometimes it likes to pull like in things like this. Honestly, I probably should have painted the red first. I messed up this one. I'll layer it up. It's fine. I really blended it there. It helps if you seal each layer that you want to do and then add the next layer, but I don't want to do that. Important thing is just when you're kind of go in and do the smaller details, really kind of know where your lines are. There we go. Nice and yellow. And try not to mix the colors too much on your figure. You can actually mix different colors on your palette though for more unique shades. I am still figuring these out. They require a bit of a finesse. Actually, I wouldn't recommend them to people beginning to paint, just because they're fast, but they're a little finicky at times. Like if you have just a character that's just I find it also kind of halts your progress a bit too. Like it's really nice to learn how to layer and build up once you kind of first start. It's kind of like the fundamentals. I feel like if you just start off using speed paints, you'll kind of be stuck at the gate for a while. But if that's all you got, that's all you got time for, then do it. I love painting. Like it's yeah, I imagine so. Why so Megasonic? Notice here how it kind of fills in these lines with shade. These little bone feathers right here are really pernicious. Oh yeah, yeah. May there be ever-present bleach for your eyes. should do the reds first. Let's get some browns going in here too. Now the leather brown is what I use all the time. If I can find it. I swear I just found it today. I can only imagine. Where is my paint? Yeah, I'm not a big... Aha! Eat it from me. I'm afraid to see it. Oh yeah, most of those things are a little costly. Yegi is a good place to look, but you don't find as many good quality things there. Oh, Yagi, here, let me... There you go. The one speed paint I don't have that I've been meaning to get is like they have like a, I forget what the name of it is, but they have like a tannish rope colored one, kind of a sandy brown. Because that is a good color to have with just my dark brown. But the leather brown looks so good on leather-based armor, on wood, on cloth. I use this one so much because I hate layering browns, honestly. On like cloaks and stuff like that, it's my least favorite things to do. Because browns just use so much for everything. I'll go back and manually paint over these little ones. sneaky part right there. Doing speed paint, you gotta watch out for those little sneaky spots. That's why I'm using the handle now, just because you have to. The white will show through a lot more in this compared to using other methods. I don't know what color to paint. Paint the little loincloth right here. I'm still a little on the fence on it. Because I have a lot of browns here already. It's kind of starting to get murky with the browns. Can't do yellow. I might do blue, which is kind of a bold contrast. Oh, there's my magic blue. All the way over here. Let's mess up everything to grab it. I think. Nope, just normal blue. That's fine. You don't have to use speed paints for everything. I'm trying to see if I want blue or just like a simple black would be better. Let me see what the original the guys look like. Because these are based off some official looking units. Let's see if they have any. I don't know if they have a lot of loincloths in those. Let's see here. No loincloths. I'm freestyling now. Blues would be bold and stand out. Black would be simple. I'll ponder this some more. Let me try the bone stuff out. Nah, I'm just gonna paint the bone by hand. I'm having an artistic meltdown over here. It's okay. It does help if you put your arms on your table. I'm really bad at doing that, but if you have your arms firmly on the table, it keeps your balance and your shakiness a lot more intact. The camera angle likes it better too. Yeah, I painted a bunch of these, but on my previous 3D printer, I had none of these details. I'm like, oh, so that's what that was. I was just guessing. I was like freehanding the details on my end. Oh, this is so much nicer. See you in a bit. Why did I do that? That was good thing with speed paints. You get like a second of grace if you want to at least try to spread it around a bit. But boy, I messed up that there. I'm gonna go through and do some retouches. This one's the hard one because it has the bone cloth. The yellows work really good too with the speed paint. I recommend those. Let's try some black. Let's get some black here. Black's really good too. Okay, I should mix that black up enough. Yeah, I think I'm feeling the black for the cloth. After ruminating, pondering the orb. Welcome back. I hope your adventures were fun. So do you paint it all Megasonic? Let's see here. We got bones. It's not get too much water in the brush. I'm just gonna paint the whole thing. Yeah, it's hard to find the time for sure. The height of the pandemic, I was painting like 5 figures a day. But we all had time to do such things at the time. And everything changed when the Twin Nation attacked. Brown's going. Something so satisfying when you get that dark brown on that swirly of the club right there. It just all fills it in. That's why we're here, folks. These ones are tough because they have all these little spikes on the end. They kind of just jut out from the wood itself, so it's hard to tell where they begin and where they end. Part of me just wants to paint them all and just repaint them with normal paint. That's probably what I'm gonna do. Just do that. That way we don't have any white spots. There. I have a golden retriever, so I find dog hair in literally everything. Cleaned up my office today and I saw literally a. You really should get a 3D printer if you have the space. They're pretty cheap and they're pretty easy to use once you figure them out. The main thing is just maintenance and upkeep is the hardest parts. Just and also they do have fumes if you get a resin one, so just you want to make sure it's in a well ventilated area. But they're like 160 bucks is you can get a good one for. If you ever get one, let me know. I have a magic formula for really really durable resin that makes it almost like like bi-figure quality. Like yeah, FDM is probably a good one to start. That's better for terrain. Like you won't get anything detailed like this, but they're not as toxic, which is nice. Yeah, I have a friend who's really into all that stuff. Like he's the one who taught me. She sold me my original printer after he upgraded, but he spends a lot of time doing all the research for me. Some little anklets. Because what is a lizard boy without an anklet? I hate these little ropes around their neck. That's just gonna be a pain to take care of. We're getting there. We're knocking these guys out. Let's get some color on Blue Boy over here. Yeah, resin is messy. I actually had to wait until I moved out of my little trailer to get one for the kiddos. How long have I been doing this for? Over an hour, it looks like. That's good for me. Usually I tire out after the first hour, so I'm improving. I'm getting better. There's people that do like those 8-hour streams. I admire the tenacity. But I'm doing something I care about. And that was the key. it's hard for me to comment and play games because I get really into video games. Like I love them, but I am a one-track mind kind of guy. I don't know why I can do this, so I guess I think it's just because it's more less sensory overload, I suppose. Ooh, that brown looks so nice. This blue, this will turn out pretty good. So there's a little, yeah, there's, what you'll need is the liquid one. I would recommend getting a cured and wash station as well, because you'll need to rinse the resin off afterwards. If not, you can put it outside and use a Tupperware container. But I definitely recommend getting one of those, which those are about $100, and then resin should run you about $30. But each print costs about, you get a lot of use out of a bottle of resin. Like I think this person costs like 12 cents to print, maybe 30 cents. Let's use red as the top two. Really? This is the US of A lizard folk right here. Yeah, they're really affordable. Like I've like made money back on my 3D printer just by selling paints and doing commissions for people. Oh, I love that red. It depends on the quality you want for a figure, but for like a figure, like a medium-sized figure, I know the blues really coming together. I did see someone in the Discord post all those color variations, so I was asking for some color suggestions, and yeah, this blue is coming together. It will be used for something. But Megasonic, how much I charge? Usually it's about for per thing you want, but it's about $4 or $5 a figure for the painting. I try to go in the lower end of the spectrum so people can get pieces on their table. Yeah, I'm liking this. This is an Aquila lizard folk right here. Follows the Quahan. I like to ask my wife when I'm done painting for the day. I'm like, so what do you think I painted today? And she has to guess the monster type based off the colors of my hand. She's usually pretty accurate. She's like, it looks like you painted orcs or you painted a dragon. I can tell by the reds and the blacks or the whatever. I'm like, yeah, that's why that's why I married you. I lucked out. I married a bigger nerd than I am, so my kids really don't have a chance in the matter now at this point. I may be a bad parent, but they're not even 4 yet, all of them, and they've already seen all the Star Wars. So raising them right, I guess. Yeah, this guy's really bold. He'll look really good on the table. Let me find my skull. All right, so for these little lines on these guys' spears, I want a different color. So I'm going to show how to blend speed paints and how that works. Because I'm going to be using the pallid bone for, well, the bone. But I want just a little bit of a creamier color than my dark brown. So just get your paint, shake them up good. Trying to find a fox girl. Aren't we all? And I recommend if you're starting painting, keep all your old brushes. You know, I started off, my brushes got to this point right here. And you don't need to throw it away. They work as great mixing brushes. Let's add just a little bit more light. But these things mix really great, so you can maximize your color usage. Definitely, when you start painting, take time to figure out how to take care of your brushes. I was really bad starting off. I would leave them in the bucket like this all night, tip down. Don't do that. Don't be like me. Be better than me. Because brushes get expensive if you, there we go, are not careful with them. So now I get kind of like a tan gray color to kind of contrast. It's dark brown. I actually might just add a little bit of black just to add some personality to it. Those just to make it kind of stand out more. So I don't want a pure black. There we go. So feel free to experiment and try that around. I just had to go darker instead of lighter. It's kind of this dark black brown. Looks really good. And these aren't using a point of reference. These are just... There we go. I like that contrast. Look at that. Can't remember. Okay. So your hand is the best palette out there. Always test it before you put a new slap on. Just put it on your hands. It's fine. Most paints are non-toxic, so you're good there. I love this bone. Layering bones is kind of a hassle in of itself. For something like this, where I get a bunch of guys to paint. Look at that. Nice tan color. little bug fly at my nose. That was a that was a shock. Yeah, the game these guys are based off. I really like how they made dragons competitively viable again. Because there's nothing better than having a new person join the table and having a bunch of dragons in play. But for some reason, designers gave them really low defense most of the time. And so they kind of fall quickly. So these guys give a little bit of a attacking presence. Yeah, we're looking pretty good. We are getting there for sure. Notices how it fills in the crevasses. Just add some. If you're really fancy, you can use some low-level zenithal highlighting. I found some really good range. Essentially, that means just what I've been doing is doing white on top, and then do a spray from the bottom, kind of a dark gray, at least for these guys, and it really kind of adds more dimension to the paints you put on top of them. But I kind of wanted these guys to be a bit more bold on the field, so I didn't really mess around too much with that this time. Also, it's tough because if it gets too dark, then and then you just don't have the color show through. It looks kind of dark at the front. These are coming along. We'll get in there. I'm just using one brush for all these guys. Nothing fancy. If you get one good brush, you're kind of. Let me just bring a little bit of brown in here. A little bit of that. Don't do that. Don't do what I just did. Try not to mix with your one good brush. Get that underside. Now, what color do I paint these feathers? That is the question. We could do a blue, kind of a bold blue. Maybe not a full bold blue. Let's try it out. Get some a little bit of pop of color on there on these guys. Swear that it'll be too much. How does this look? It's okay. I'm not the biggest fan of it. Actually might use like a speed paint white on these. Try that out. It's good, but I'm kind of liking it. I don't know. I'm back and forth. I'll wait till it dries to see how I fully feel. On one hand, that color is nice, but I don't know if this shade of blue is the best. Oh, my aching back. Alright, let's get this guy going. And if you ever want any requests for any figures or any Heroescape figures or really any other 3D prints, feel free to let me know. I am happy to put them on the pile of shame to add to the next work catalog. I'm really doing this to help newcomers to the hobby. Is my primary, people that have no idea what they're doing and looking for a good place to start. I watched a lot of videos of just live paints. It really helped you. You don't realize the little things you learn. Just brush control and what to do. That washes are a thing. It's all about gathering knowledge. This blue is looking good. Alright, let's see, what other color could I do? Well, let me show off some. There's a lot of talk on speed paint whites, kind of what the purpose of them is, why would you use them? Speed paint white is kind of it's a different kind of paint. It's more of a shade than a speed paint. Let's see here. I'll show you how it works. So notice it kind of has like a grayer tone to it. But it really adds that nice shading to a white thing. Things like this with lots of little details, it's great. Because layering white, shading white is a lot of work. Now this isn't perfect. Sometimes it's better just to add a black wash to something painted white like this, and then highlight over. But this doesn't make it as dark and cloudy when you do that. You have to remember that the paint comes on, it looks a lot darker than when it dries. It's 12:30 already. I ain't slowing down. I'm invincible. I'm sure there'll be a point where I start talking, I won't make much sense, but for now I'm semi-coherent, so we call that a win. Yeah. The white isn't as flashy when you just use it. It's definitely very subtle. It adds that. Just a little bit of gray. I don't think the cameras will even pick up the distinction. It's a little bit of that gray right there. You get some white showing through once it dries. This works really good in cloth if you don't want to really layer it on like wings, stuff like that. Because it kind of adds that gray shadow. But it doesn't really. I wouldn't use it if you're painting like any like white robots like the Omnicrons or Repulsors or anything like that. That is a whole separate thing on how to paint those guys. It's on my docket of how to paint those. To do them right, to do them well. Like, it's, because part of you just wants to spray paint them white, do the blue parts, and then just add a wash, but if you could do some subtle layering and some subtle highlights on those things, they look so nice. They look better than the official units. I'll be going into more of that later. I've been doing a lot of, for those that don't know, I'm talking about a game called Heroes Escape. So if you have any questions on what I'm talking about, feel free to let me know. I'd be happy to go into that. But it's a old board game from, well, it's been out of print since 2010, but still a pretty strong community for it. And still tournaments and stuff like that. But I've been experimenting with one of the units called Wosaga, which is like a giant skeleton snake. I think I have it right here. One of these units. I am I am doing so many experiments on to find the right shade for that bone. Because it's a weird yellow, white, brown. I've been doing just tests, just like what is the perfect combination of white to yellow. I've looked online. There's not a lot of resources for it, so I'm cracking the code in that one. What I really want to do, I'm gonna take a brief break. All right, I'll look into that after the stream probably tomorrow. I'm gonna take a 5-minute break, stretch my back, and look for a paint. I'll be right back. All right, I am back. I did not find the paint, but I'll just build it up the old-fashioned way, because I want like a white guy with a nice bright blue underbelly. Now, especially for not speed paints, if you're using Army Painter, you want to shake that up a whole lot. Let me actually use a wet palette for this. So my paints cannot. I usually test my wet palette out on top of it. Most people don't do that. I wouldn't recommend it. A wet palette is effectively just a great tool to have if you're painting. It keeps your paints nice and moist, allows for them to be thinned. Gotta refresh this one a bit. Essentially, we have a slight permeable layer of baking sheet on top of a sponge, and it allows for some slight water transference to keep the paints fresh and viscous, which is, something you always want. Your viscosity is important. Alright, so I'm taking this guy. So you want water on your brush, and you want to find it, kind of pull the paint back to your desired thinness. Test on your hand. And you should be able to see the details pull through. And there you go. That's how you use normal paints, which I like doing more than speed paints. It's more fun because you can layer and build up, and there's less overflow. But it takes more time. I'm working on a model of of buying equipment, and I'm using a triangulated 3-point system where you have either time, you have quality, or you have price. Usually you have to sacrifice one of those things to get something. If something has some few things have a price point or a buy point right in the middle, but those things are very rare. It should be taken up immediately. Let me get closer in so you can all see. So I am using, let's see, what paint am I using? I'm using a crystal blue as the base, which I really like this color a whole lot. It's nice and bold. So you can mix normal paints and speed paints together. It helps if they're not necessarily on top of each other, because you can reactivate the speed paints as we mentioned before. Making a little ice dragonborn now. Not dragonborn, ooh, and that's what you want to watch out for. That is a bad day, but thankfully we didn't get too much. It's salvageable. That's why I use a PVC pipe and sticky tack on top, because that can really ruin your day. I am back. Better than ever. I've done that before where I've spent like highly detailed figures and I slipped out of my hand right into my palette. Start all over. Now see the white speed paint really dries more as a light gray. This probably could use a bit more water. It's not thin enough. So you usually want your paint to be about the consistency of skim milk. Like a little bit. Notice when I do it, it's got a little bit of a pushback. Maybe. I could be down, but you're so much better than I am. Probably play a couple games though. All right. Let's see. It would be a cool color for the shield. Let's give him like a black shield. Just really. I'm gonna rehydrate some paint I already had in the palette here. Really just go different with this one. I'll give him an ice blade. And now we're cooking. This one has these little wraparounds on the sword, which are kind of I'm not a fan of, just because they're so thin. All right. Now let's just do all this just standard style. I'm really just going for something wild with this one here. Let's see here. Let's get the browns going though. I will use speed paint for the brown, just because it's so much easier to paint. Kind of buff up that. I really want that blue to shine. Yeah, if you could just buy one speed paint, it's the speed paint brown. Just for all the little sandals and the belt buckles and all the stuff you really don't want to spend a lot of time on, but it's just still kind of in the way. It's still there. I might make the top feel a bit darker. What I do, you can buy these little metal balls, and don't have a dropper there. I think I lost that in the Great War. Let's make this one a bit more unique. It's dark enough. We'll mix it up in the shades. I'll do a nice red for the feather color. Let me liven up my... Oh, they are? I like those people. I do wish I was Australian. That would really make me just a better person by like 10%, I think. Just imagine it's just like, alright, now you just got to add the paint to this brush right here, and now you got yourself a lizard folk. It's just everything they say is 10 times more interesting. Alright, let's just make this black. Let's just do this from the ground up. Don't know why I decided to start painting a white one, but I kind of felt like it. It's my stream. I can do what I want. I'm easily distracted by shiny things. You can't blame me now, can ya? Give this one nice cool frigid base in a bit. Sometimes when you use speed paint, you get kind of a big blob at the end that you'll have to knock off, lest it'll kind of spill everywhere. Oh. Most important thing is you want to watch for little droplets of water at the end of your brush. So that will ruin your day if they're there. What color do I want to make the loincloth? Do my kind of light shade I did before. I just realized that's the same bone shade. Worst part of any paint is when it gets behind the brush. Oh, you told everyone that I'm live? Oh no. I didn't clean up for guest. Yeah, these guys are coming in okay. I am the white speed paint is honestly not the best. It's okay. But if you want more white, it's like white. I actually usually water this down just so I can get the light coming through. Oh, we got some not a fully cleaned out brush there. I'll get a paint fix. That's fine. I'm gonna dry brush this all anyways. This is pretty good starting base coat. Let me get. So I've recently started using Pro Acryl paints. Good God, I love these things. These are the creme de creme. They have coverage, they have flow. Love them. A little on the pricier side. That's the only. Where's my mini dry brush? I honestly should be more patient with this. Let this dry a bit more. Because that needs some touch up. Alright, let's do touch ups now. These guys coming together. Let's really get these bones kind of showing a bit better. So you're not really supposed to do this on speed paints because it's kind of a one coat and done, but sometimes you just want to go in and make something a bit more apparent. Fix some mistakes. And that's fine. No one is going to stop you. Except me. I will stop you. Get that. Where's me painty stick? Ah, there's me painty stick right there. Let's get the toesies all cleaned up. I hate painting feet. I'm like the reverse Tarantino. I just get so many little details and no one ever sees them. But they'll immediately notice if they're bad. I'm going to switch to a more detailed brush. I think this calls for it. Let's go to my layer brush, my Citadel layer, which is really good for this kind of stuff. Let me clean out this brush a bit better. You really want to make sure your brush is well cleaned out, because you do not want to spend $8 to $15 to buy a new one. now I'm just finding little details, buffing them out a bit. Right. Spots where I let the paint splatter. I'm just trying to buff them back up. Rid of the leakage and the overflow. Get some nice sheen there. Just gonna add some highlights and details to this. Let's get some metallics going. Actually, let's do, yeah, these are more metallics. While I'm at it. Honestly, this should be more of a dry brush. It's nice. Key to good metallics is do a black undercoat or a brown undercoat, and then just dry brush, which just means getting a fluffy brush or a worn out brush and just going back and forth, and it'll really just hit the high points, kind of make it more reflective. We'll use this one. Just make sure you get rid of all the excess. You want just the bare minimum. See that? You got some natural shading, some dimensionality. Just what I can say for more than the girls I've dated. There we go. Got that little blade really showing through. I'm spending so much time on yours, Megasonic, and this is not the one I need to focus on. But you know what, let me just be crazy. Let me just really flush out these highlights. At this point I'm just painting normally. I'm not even using speed paints. It's so satisfying though to get a good dry brush going. I'm not being patient. I should have waited this totally to dry. Really highlighting these race scales that this model comes with. Oh, I was saying I'm spending too much time on your figure that you requested, even though it's not on my list of things to do. But I do like the blues. You're not supposed to do with this highlights. I actually advise against it. Just wanted a little bit more sheen on it. What color do I want to make it shield? Let's do a silver shield. Actually, really add some panache to this. Dry brush is the hardest to maintain because you get stuff deep in the follicles. Oh, I got this. Painting pans. Yeah, it's my own invention. I could just pull out a napkin, but I just find this so much easier. Nice metal sheen to this. Something kind of different. And let me find... Do I have any silver metal over here? I'm gonna flush it out while I'm doing highlights. I know, I'm getting there. I think this is the most I've ever had. So I'm going off script, I'm just grabbing paints left and right. They're all supposed to be green. What am I doing? Should have put that on my dry brush, but it's okay. Dry brushing is so satisfying if you do it right. Using my big dry brush, I don't know why. Should be using my little one, but I'm tired. I'm getting to that point where I'm just like, oh, I want to make mistakes. Or not do things the proper way. That's okay. There you go. I wanted some kind of stark contrast to it. I made it to 2 hours. That's pretty good. I made it past the hour mark. I'm not tired yet. I want to have at least one unit completely finished. There we go. I don't think I painted any sword boys. No, I painted one. There we go. But I didn't paint the silver properly. Look at that. That's what we're talking about. Get that little silvery piece buffed out. Thank you, Joe. Yeah, we try to branch out a bit, try some different colors. All right, this is the fun part here. I love this one right here is good enough for some shading. Should let me add a little bit, just some. Let me really buff them out. Let me buff out this white real fast. Am I a little low? Do I need to turn myself up? I don't think I'm just talking up louder. I can amplify myself. I kind of talk out of the side of my mouth sometimes. All right. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello. My biggest fear is bad audio. I hate that. Yeah, I'll work on the settings. I am getting near the end of the stream. But I do gotta. Let's just get the bold white. Let's just be crazy. Again, Pro Acryl. If you're gonna get just one paint on one white, get their whites. Their whites are really fantastic. All their paints are really fantastic. I am kind of switching over from Army Painter to Pro Acryl, and they're fantastic. Even coverage. Dropper bottles, no GW paint pots, which I hate. There you go. Let's flush out the white. I do recommend that if you use speed paint, um, the white version, just dry brush a bit white afterwards to really get your white details back. Just a light dry brush, because then you get to keep the shadows. Still get some boldness of the white. I think I might have. These are fun models to dry brush just because they have so many ridges and details on them. Been a little sloppy with it, but that's okay. I'll show you why in a second. There we go, nice bold white. Really make sure you get that white rinsed out though, because that will ruin it fast. Make sure once you rinse a dry brush, you really just wipe out all the fluid, all the. Let me actually get some napkins for this one. Really kind of get all that out, because that's all just staying in the brush right there. All right, let's get some washing going, just for sake of show and tell. Make sure it's closed when you shake it. Traditionally, when you speed paint and you want to kind of do these layers or these washes, it's recommended that you seal it. You get some clear coat varnish. Honestly, you could go to Go to Walmart and just get some Rust-Oleum semi-gloss varnish if they have it, and seal it in so it doesn't kind of reactivate the paints. But I think we'll be fine today. So the thing with washes is that they come out really dark out of the tube. Like you really want to take your brush and just drop some water so it's kind of the thinness that you want. That should be, depends on what you're doing for. If you really want a dark tone, then keep it that. I'm doing white, so I'm really looking for the right brush. Ate too many Butterfingers growing up. And I recommend using like the Monster for a good dry brush. Army Painter Monster is good. The Citadel dry, what's the term out? The Citadel shader is really good too to use. There we go. I got some white on that. That's not good. All right, kind of nice and thin. And this is where you hide all your sin right here. On. They have different color shaders. You can even make your own, but it just covers all. Gets a nice, just shadowy look to it all. It's the when you paint HeroesCade figures, you want to add a healthy dose of shading, because that's what they use in the factory to. Now look, just bringing out all my details. Yeah, any pre-painted miniature you'll buy will use this technique a lot. Just to, it kind of fills in the little areas you didn't layer out properly. That looks really good. So we used it thin, so it's not too oppressive on the white. You want to watch out for pulling and like little crevices. And you let that dry. It always dries lighter than it appears. But really on details models like these, it really is the finishing touch. Now if you notice it kind of starts pulling on areas where it's not supposed to, you wipe off the paint and just it'll suck it up. Like and what I'll do once this dries is I'll go in and add highlights to this little blue area to really kind of make that stand out. Because when I was dry brushing, I kind of went a little too crazy with it. And I'll do the details of that line work right there. But you gotta, now you gotta lizard folk that will service Nilfheim. That's Frosty Breath. There you go. All right, we're looking pretty good. I usually like to do detail work off camera because it is a lot more focus, a lot more, but you also have to wait for everything to dry to really get it done. Let me buff out the bones a bit. The bones! And using my Psycho. Now, this is insane detail. I love this one, but you really got to be careful. This brush will break in a matter of moments if you're not careful with it. You always have to decide how many layers you want to do. Like, what's the level of people that care about it? You could be like George Lucas and just keep on re-editing it, or you just say, you know what, this is done. We don't need a special edition of this character. Right now I'm buffing out just the details with the Pro Acryl. I think it's Cream Ivory, which is really great. It's an off-white, which is great for just details and highlights. Really gonna watch these spikes right here. So many angles. And it'll look like garbage if you overshoot it or if you undershoot it. So you gotta make sure it's well done. I want to see if my Nightbot command is working. If anyone watching wants to have more edited videos and uploads of specifically Heroescape painting, check out my YouTube channel. I'll plug myself. Yeah, it works. Okay, I was just testing that out. I've been having some issues with Nightbot, so I'm happy about that. Yeah, you can check it out. I've been doing things called character indexes, where it's pretty much just a simple setup, a 360-degree view of characters, because it is really nice if you're trying to copy existing official characters for a point of reference. Gives me a bit of courage as well when I do those. I want to do a lot more with them, but I'll probably make that into separate videos with ability breakdowns and battle plans. I have a lot of things in the pipeline I'm excited about, but I'm a slow-moving giant. A little bit too much of a perfectionist for my own good. I'm also just generally busy. I work a job and a part-time job. I have 3 kids. They're toddlers. So unfortunately my content creation is not as expedient as I would like. But I'm trying not to get stressed about it, just doing what I can, having fun. I mean, that's the main thing. So I enjoy doing this kind of stuff. And I've been receiving a lot of positive encouragement from people, just letting me know to kind of pursue this on a more consistent level, in the very least. So I'm trying out. I'm kind of if I'm being honest, this is exposure therapy for me because I am scared to death of people watching what something I love doing. you know, you have done before is just kind of it has that waypoint of like, oh, I don't really care about it, kind of that protective field. I love doing this. I do commissions for too low because I just enjoy it too much. Yeah, that looks really nice. I'm liking that. Maybe buff up this guy a bit. Your paint should always be slightly clear. It should rarely just be solid. Even speed paint in itself, the concept behind it is that it's thin enough that you're able to see what's underneath. I'm gonna layer this up. Just because I got some blue on it. I'm not sure what to paint the spear feathers. You know what? This might be a good one for just maybe do these little bones at the bottom here. Maybe I'll just do the white speed paint of that. Give them some nice little gray tone. Get these little bones on its loincloth painted. These were a nightmare to figure out what they were on a low poly print. And when painting figures, you usually don't want to do no more than 4 colors. Is kind of the rule of thumb. Unless you're doing something kind of wacky or highly detailed, but for a good simple paint, find your 4 colors, usually 1 primary, 1 kind of more secondary, and 2 highlights. For accents, kind of stick to those, at least using the hero escape method. Just up there. These ones I went a little bit on the wild side, with some variation with the red and the yellow and the blue and the tan and the, but really it's 5 colors. It's not 4, but oh, that's no problem at all. I actually think I am gonna call it a night right here. We got a lot done today. A lot of good conversation. Alright, so this is the blue guy, kind of how he turned out. I will be finishing up these details a bit. I am not liking that way. It's not, it doesn't draw your eyes in. I want to make it red, but he has a red thing. Maybe I'll make a dark red. Maybe I'll just be crazy. That is a question. Who am I going to raid? Never really raided someone before, so this is a whole new world for me. If Gemma's on, I'll raid Gemma. Yeah, I do like that red. Ties it in. A lighter red. Alright. Well, here's the blue guy. So we got some work to do. I'll be doing basing and so with that, here's the kind of green scale proper. We'll be doing eyes and some touch-ups, but from from this far, they look pretty good. I thank you so much, everyone who's still watching, who just hopped on. Love chatting, love painting. Let me figure out how to raid. Excuse my ignorance. All right, Megasonic. How do you raid? What's the command code for that? Ah, well, that makes sense. Maybe I'll make you mod so you can help me out. I just type in raid or I do anything? Is it slash? Let me just look it up. I have the internet at my disposal. Ah, it's /r. All right, let's see if this works. You all have a good night.